from his time as 8 years as vice president. So there's no doubt about it. Britain is regarded as being an important voice on this side of the Atlantic. But against that, of course, you know, this is a time of change within NATO, and President Bush has to be aware of the sensitivities of other allies, and in particular West Germany. If I can just say that he's due to leave here in about 15 or 20 minutes' time, and just away from me in the front of the lawn, we should be able to see now the President's helicopter, which is due to take off from here at 9:20, where he'll fly to Heathrow Airport. He's due to leave Heathrow at about 9:50. So preparations are well on the way for the end, not only of George Bush's London visit, but of course his 6-day visit to Europe, which by all accounts has been very successful.
Yes, we know that the President is actually, well, he's a bit of a keep fit fanatic, isn't he? Has he been enjoying running around Regent's Park down there, do you know, Jerry?
Well, that's quite difficult to get that kind of information. It's probably classified. We tried yesterday to talk to some people from the embassy, and they said, we do not schedule the President's private time. That's the kind of language they use, but you quite rightly say the President is a keep fit fanatic. He's believed to have gone jogging yesterday. He likes a 3-mile jog in the morning, and it's a perfect morning for him if he wanted to do it. But so far I haven't seen him, and if he did it, he didn't come down to tell us.
Jerry, if he does go running, just out of interest, presumably he has to have security men running with him, carrying, I mean, are they armed if they go with him in that situation?
Well, I think it's fair to say that the President doesn't go anywhere without being well protected by Secret Service agents. The security operation here at the embassy is quite remarkable, as one would expect when the President is around. So if he did go for a walk, or if he did go for a jog, he wouldn't be by himself, that's for sure.
That's right. They've actually been very well looked after, haven't they, the Bushes, at the American ambassador. Henry Catto is the new ambassador with his wife Jessica. They've made a few changes at the embassy, haven't they?
Yes, there's a new style at the embassy here. Henry Catto and his wife Jessica are long-standing friends of George Bush, dating back to the 60s, when Henry Catto was helped him out in a campaign in Texas in the 1960s. Mrs. Catto, who's a very successful businesswoman in her own right, has said on record that she wants the atmosphere here at the ambassador's residence to be less formal than in previous years. Some suggest that she swapped smoked salmon food for real Mexican food. So a bit of a change, and I think that would obviously appeal to the Bushes because they like a homely, down-to-earth approach as well.
That's good, Jerry. We're hoping to be joining you a little bit later, I think, as the President and his wife leave in about, well, no, probably just after they've left, in about an hour's time. So, Jerry Foley, thank you very much for now, and hopefully we'll join you later.
Thank you.
Yeah, interesting. The Bushes descended from England. Mr. Catto descended from Scotland. Talking of Scotland, one final word. Scots Guards precision drilling at Buckingham Palace, the best I've ever seen. Absolutely magnificent display. Sheer perfection. Jane Fonda after this break.
Use Fostrogen, houseplant food, plant pin and water signals, and your little plants get bigger every day.
Hey, Dora. Hey, Crow.
Yep.
If you can tell me how many different fruits are in mixed fruit Kiora, I'll let you find out what all 4 of them taste like.
Fruity mixed Kiora. Oh, boy, oh, boy. 1, 2, 49.
No.
3.
No.
7.
No.
1.
JP, the #1 nut. Why settle for less? Less.
Do you love anyone enough to go over Niagara Falls in your designer suit?
Yeah!
To arm wrestle an octopus? To tell a guard dog to keep off the grass?
Bad doggy.
To give someone your last Rolo? Soft, creamy toffee in a milk chocolate cup. Well?
I am thinking about it. Honest.
You can get Cheshire cheese in 3 colours. Personally, I prefer the blue.
Any way you please it, choose it. Try delicious new Del Pack vegetable grills. The exciting range includes curry flavor, too.
There's something different every night. Del Pack.
Stacks of facts.
Stacks of taste. Hello again. Hollywood superstar Jane Fonda was honoured at this year's Cannes Film Festival when her latest film, Old Gringo, was chosen to close the event. It's a love story set during the Mexican Revolution and is due to be released over here later this year.
The story is about people, in particular two people, a Mexican general and this North American Methodist spinster who in the beginning have no comprehension of each other, have a tremendous amount of antagonism for each other. It's like two totally separate worlds who will never come together, but because of the intensity of the moment, of the events that are going on, she is forced by him, forced by events, forced by the old gringo, suddenly to allow her preconceptions to drop away, and he is forced to see her differently. And as a result, they can see each other as human beings, as man and woman, and they can even love each other. It's not something that will ever last, but it's the true coming together of people who thought they were enemies. So it's extremely important. I think it's extremely appropriate that the basic theme of the movie is carried in a love relationship. An erotic love relationship between the general and Harriet, a psychological love relationship between the two men, a paternal psychological relationship, love relationship between me and the old man. It's all about love. It's all about coming to recognize who you are and then becoming capable of loving someone else. There's no other way to do that but love, as far as I can see.
Were you putting part of yourself into that? I mean, part of the real you?
No, it was a book that was written by Carlos Fuentes that I bought. Obviously, like, at any time you approach a part, you bring yourself to the part. But I didn't write the character. It was created by someone else.
And how did you think yourself into the part of the spinster, Harriet?
I read diaries of women at the turn of the century. I read books about how they needed to travel. Very often they would travel to foreign countries just to break out of their repressive life. I kept a diary as the character of Harriet, but mostly it came together when I put on the clothes. The corset. Well, you can't, I couldn't be sitting like this. You can't scream. If you scream, you pass out because you can't get the oxygen into your lungs to scream. I mean, suddenly everything closes in, and that's how I discovered Harriet.
One final thing, what's your next project now? You've done several very powerful films. Now this one, what are you going to do now?
Well, I have several projects that are being developed. I don't know which one will become ready first. One is a comedy, which is will be an American remake of the Spanish film Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, and I really want to do a comedy again. I love to do comedy, and there are several others. I just don't know which one will be the next.
So your fans can look forward to seeing your nice blue eyes on screen again soon?
I hope so.
Gosh, she's got more than blue eyes, hasn't she? She looks wonderful for 52. I mean, if I look half as good at that age, I'll be delighted.
Yeah, I'm going to make no comment. She does look great for 52. What a sensation in the Daily Mirror. Barry McGuigan, he's come back to boxing, or has he? Why I want to KO Bruno. Can this be true? What's all this about?
Listen, you know what the media is like. The Pope got off the
nice
plane.
people.
You know the story I told you about the Pope. Well, they exaggerate, you know. No, I said
shows, isn't it?
It's about they say about chat shows. No, I want to get into the media. I'd like to get involved in TV work of some description, whether it be as a commentator or you're just talking to sportsmen. But
I'm sure you'll achieve that.
I'd like to be involved.
But I mean, don't be selfish about it. How about the Barry and Sandra show?
That'd be great.
What do you think? Would you like that, Sandra?
Yeah.
He's kissed the Blarney Stone, not me.
We'll chat. We'll keep kissing it because we'll be chatting with you more a lot later.
Good.
Barry and Sandra, thank you.
Right, the time on Good Morning Britain is 28 minutes past 8. I think it's time that we got the weather details from Carol.
Thanks, Catherine. Hello, good morning to your right. It's that time again. Have a look at the old weather. Nothing has changed really. Still a bit on the grotty side. Temperatures are down, well down on what they have been, but we do stress they are normal for the time of year, so we can't say much about them, can we? If you have a look at the morning board, you'll see up in Scotland this morning, it's going to stay quite dry, but it will be quite dull and overcast. Rain is on the way. Same story across in Northern Ireland, Northern England and the Midlands, Wales the southwest, central and southeast England, again more of the same, although we will have quite a lot of sunshine down here. Make the most of it though, because those clouds are rolling in. As we move into the afternoon then, you'll see that still some sunshine down here in the south, but up here in the north, I'm afraid, a pretty dull, wet, drizzly, horrible afternoon, I'm afraid, in store for us. It's going to be a light northerly wind around today too. That's going to affect most of us, but it's not going to do much to the temperatures. They're chilly enough as it is, as you can see. Temperatures today only ranging from between 12 in the north to about 14 down in the south. Now that rain which is in Scotland is going to make its way over to Northern Ireland during the afternoon, so you can expect more of the same over there. Northern England and the Midlands, in fact the rest of England, Wales and the southwest of England as well, we can expect some sunshine, but in the main lots of showers around, and do take your jackets, it is going to be quite chilly. As we move into the evening then, still some showers around, particularly in Scotland, Northern Ireland and in the northwest of England as well. For most of us a pretty dry night though. Temperatures a little bit warmer than they have been, but still on the chilly side. That's the weather. We'll give you a final update on that coming up to 9. Mike.
Thanks very much, Carol. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll be keeping an eye open for the departure of President George Bush. We'll be finding out how Pauline Collins is on the verge of winning an American Tony Award.
And here in the studio, Barry McGuigan lets himself in for something a bit tougher than the boxing ring when he steps into the kitchen with Rustin. We might persuade Sandra to join us too.
What a recommendation for cooking. It's 8:30. Let's go to Lisa Aziz now for the news headlines. Good morning to you, Lisa.
Hello, good morning. President Bush flies back to the United States this morning, completing a highly successful European tour. It finished with a banquet at Downing Street and further affirmation of the special relationship which flourishes between Britain and the United States. Mrs. Thatcher told the new president he could always count on Britain in times of danger. While the President and Mrs. Thatcher were discussing matters of state, the First Lady Barbara Bush was helping Anglo-American relations in her own highly individual style. She toured an adult education centre in Brixton before travelling to number 10 for lunch and exchanging greetings with Dennis Thatcher. In Northern Ireland, Republicans Alex Murphy and Harry Maguire today begin life sentences for their part in the murder of 2 British soldiers. Corporals Derek Wood and David Howes were killed after they drove into the path of an IRA funeral in Belfast. Passport offices throughout Britain are expected to remain closed today as the dispute over staffing levels escalates. Workers at 5 of the 6 regional offices are holding a 24-hour stoppage in support of their colleagues in Liverpool who are out on indefinite strike. The fate of thousands of Vietnamese immigrants who have poured into Hong Kong will be sealed later this month. An international conference in Geneva will decide whether to repatriate them. There are now more than 37,000 Vietnamese in the British colony. In Australia, a jumbo jet landed safely after plummeting thousands of feet towards the earth. 46 passengers were injured in the sudden nosedive during an overnight flight from Sydney to Singapore. Those on board reported seeing people thrown around the cabin with their heads punching holes in the ceiling. It's not known what caused the incident. Finally, plans to preserve the historic site of Shakespeare's Rose Theatre in South London will be announced later this morning. Campaigners, including actors and MPs, are still demanding that not 1 inch of the site is touched. And those are the news headlines. It's now 8:32. I'll be back again at nearly 9 o'clock. Now, though, back to Mike.
Thanks very much, Lisa. Well, at 9 o'clock, don't forget Wackaday is at 9 o'clock. Now, Monsieur Mallet is still in France. We understand he's now recreating the worst aspects of the French Revolution, which is not surprising. And our message is off with his head. That's what we say here. Good morning, Britain. Wackaday at 9.
Yes, I hope Jimmy manages his accent slightly better than that, Michael.
Yeah, my German's always been a bit ropey.
Russell is ready to reveal what's in the stars today. Now, if it's your birthday today, you share it with Charlie Watts, the drummer from the Rolling Stones, who's 48, and Tony Hadley of Spandau Ballet, who's 29. Good morning, Russell.
Hiya, gang. Gemini. Why trust to luck when your psychic powers are waiting to be unleashed and used to your advantage? You're a gifted Gemini. Cancer, you need to get away from the daily grind, even if it's just for a wee diversion with friends or family. Take a break. Leo, it's like talking to a brick wall with some folk, so better take a deep breath and start your explanation again, this time more slowly. Watch your lips, yes. Virgo, before you make a momentous move in your life, make sure you're not jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. Be clear in what you're doing. Libra, your job prospects and career ambitions take a turn for the better, but don't behave like a desperado in your race to secure your place. Be chic, sophisticated, and ice cool. Scorpio. Exchanging views and ideas will draw your beloved and you closer together. Careless rapture. Sagittarius, if you're worried about your fitness or physical condition, embark on a new health regime or visit your doctor for a checkup. Capricorn, Friday night is music night, so get out and disco till dawn. Join with the local choristers or just sit back and play your favourite records. Relax. Aquarius, have you thought of hosting a reunion or throwing an impromptu party? If not, you'd better start thinking about it now. Pisces, contact and communicate is the celestial message today. So if you've been out of touch with folk, now's the time to get back in the fab and groovy groove. Yeah. Aries, you'll have no truck with folk who get in your professional way as you power your way to a prominent and prestigious position. Who dares wins. Taurus, when it comes to cash, you're no pushover, as other people will find out who try to play you at your own game. Stick to your financial guns. Okie dokie, see ya.
Okie dokie, toodle pip and ta-ra. Thank you very much indeed, Russell. Now, actress Pauline Collins is hoping, fingers crossed, to make it a double when the winners of the Tony Awards are announced in New York this weekend. She's actually in line for the Best Actress award for her part in the Willie Russell play Shirley Valentine. She's already won the Laurence Olivier Award. So, David Foster has been to see Pauline on Broadway.
In a part of New York where the muggers and rapists inspire only slightly more fear than the theatre critics, a British actress has taken on all comers and could emerge with a row of campaign medals. Since February on Broadway, Pauline Collins has been Shirley Valentine, a Liverpool housewife who makes you cry, makes you laugh and makes you think as she tries to leave suburban boredom behind.
That is the strength of the play, I think, that it's not only about a Liverpool housewife, but it's about a person, and indeed not only a woman, but a person reassessing themselves and realising that they can do something about their life.
On the way home, on the bus, I was crying. I don't know why. I'm sitting there, big tears dripping down my cheeks, and all the while there's this voice in my head that keeps saying, I used to be Shirley Valentine. I used to be Shirley Valentine. What happened? Who turned me into this? I don't want this.
The solo effort requires 2 hours 20 minutes of Miss Collins communicating variously with the audience, a rock and her kitchen wall. There's been a British production of Shirley Valentine, the Broadway show, which Pauline Collins will leave in July, and in between, yes, a film of Shirley Valentine with Pauline Collins in the leading role.
It's been Shirley Valentine, Shirley Valentine, Shirley Valentine.
Yeah.
What happens now?
I've no idea. I usually like doing the thing that I don't know about next, because that's how Shirley Valentine came to me, and how Upstairs Downstairs came to me all those years ago. It came a fortnight before rehearsals started. I like surprises, you know, I don't like to plan too far in advance.
No plans at the moment?
None at all.
What about when this is over?
I've no idea. I mean, when this is over here, you mean, in New York, I'll be promoting the film, which will be very exciting and interesting. And then I'm open to offers.
It's like that advert, isn't it? I was watching it the other night, you know. Milk Tray Man is marvellous, isn't he? You see him, he dives off a 1,000-foot cliff, swims across 2 miles of water, and climbs halfway up a block of flats just to drop off a box of chocolates. And you learn from that the lady loves Milk Tray. You also learn that the lady's been keeping her legs firmly closed because If she hadn't, no, if he'd had his way with her, he wouldn't go there by diving off a 1,000-foot cliff and swimming through a raging torrent. He'd go by bus.
I thought she was wonderful.
So I'm back for the second time because it was so wonderful.
I'm knocked out every time I see it.
Very talented woman.
I've seen it, what, I don't know, 20 times.
She really is remarkable.
I'm as proud as Punch, of course. But for me, she's the greatest anyway.
No. Honestly? What has surprised and delighted Pauline Collins is that, as she puts it, a middle-aged actress hitherto unknown in the United States could have been so well received. This weekend we'll see whether that acclamation can be transformed into something more permanent for the sideboard back home. David Foster, TVam, on Broadway.
And yes, that particularly enthusiastic fan in the white jacket was Pauline's husband, John Alderton. So I suppose he should say all those nice things, shouldn't he? We'll be talking again to Pauline on Monday after the Tony Awards, live from New York at 7:35. So let's hope that it's a victory chat. Good luck, Pauline. Now, the time on Good Morning Britain is just coming up to 20 to 9. Barry and Sandra McGuigan are still with us, so pleased that you are still here. We haven't yet managed to make that momentous kitchen appearance, but sport, Barry, a lot of people have dreams in sport, don't they? I mean, so many thousands, millions of people enjoy playing sport at one level or another, and a lot of people have dreams of being the best in the world at their particular sport.
Yeah.
You've achieved that. Do you think that the dreams, or that rather the reality, actually lives up to those dreams?
That's a good question, eh? That's a cracker. Yes, for me, it was absolutely fantastic. I think the difference was my support and my fans were sort of bordering on fanatical, and the emotion that was there when I won the title against Pedrosa in QPR, the nights that I fought in the King's Hall, it was as if I knew everybody in the hall. The charge of emotion was incredible. And when I won the title, I just felt like, you know, like a king must feel. I really felt fabulous, and to have held it for a year was fantastic. But I felt I could have held it even longer. But you know, it's been marvelous. You know, it's been marvelous, and it certainly lived up to my expectations.
It's wonderful to hear you put it into words like that. I mean, it's obviously such an emotionally charged thing. Sandra, as the wife of a world champion, and you must have been bursting with pride. But how else does it affect you?
Well, I think with boxing, it's such a slow and gradual thing that you come to terms with it, and you really did. And a few people said to us after you won the title, enjoy it while you can. And we did, we really did. And we came home to Belfast, and that was fantastic. And Clonus was fantastic. And people always say, you know, Dublin isn't as warm as Belfast, but we went to Dublin, and
God knows it was.
The welcome was unbelievable.
They say there was as many people there that was out to meet the Pope. I don't know whether that's right or not, but it felt that way. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was terrific.
God
So it
knows
was.
brilliant.
And those are memories that you can never ever lose. Like, you know.
And your eyes are shining as you talk about it. But has there been? I'm sorry to turn negative now, but has there been a negative side to it as well, like the intrusion in your life, or media problems, or?
Oh no. No, I think if you I wasn't sure what way you were putting that question. No, I think if you accept the fact that you're a public figure. See, only for the public I wouldn't be who I am today. Only for those people out there who paid £10 at the beginning or £5 or whatever and to see me fight, I wouldn't be who I am. Nobody would know Barry McGuigan. So I owe them every day of every week that everybody asks me for an autograph. I feel I'm entitled to sign autographs, because only for those people I wouldn't be here. So I've accepted that, and I always accepted that. So therefore, when people ask me for autographs, they never got on my nerves. I knew that it was important.
We've got another little request for you now, Barry. Time to put the penny on.
All right.
Take a picture of this. It's never happened before.
This is what you're going to have to do. Now you're a retired boxer, you've got to take your
I'll have to learn how to cook
seriously
first.
in the kitchen. So we'll see what happens in the kitchen after this break.
Marvellous.
Some maison mashed potato with savory onion. Just one of those happy accidents.